All right, all welcome back. This is going to be Asian Politics Lecture 6. So we're going to talk about sort of modern Asia, modern Korean politics. So this is going to be Chapter 12, the Asian Tiger. We'll skip the intro and go straight into Section 2, post-war government. So there's a lot of history and sort of um, an explanation of how their politics has moved post-World War II, post-Korean War. So as we discussed in the last chapter, Syngman Rhee was elected president in 1948, and he lasted until 1960 after some very highly anti-democratic actions, right? So this included imprisonment, torture, and murder of opposition members, not just communists, but legitimate opposition members. It included using the military to put down peaceful protests and murder some of his own citizens. He ended the two-term presidential limit so that he could run again, which is highly undemocratic, right? He arguably rigged the election in 1960. There's a lot of debate still to this day about whether that was a legitimate election or not. And he was just very corrupt. His government and himself and his family stole a lot of money, a lot of government funds, right? Very, very corrupt. Um, in Once Syngman Rhee leaves in 1960, there's a very short prime ministership of a man named Chung Myun from 1960 to 1961, whereafter a military coup ousted him. And General Park Chung-hee becomes the new military dictator of South Korea. Now, under General Park Chung-hee's stewardship, the economy grew rapidly, but also very unequally, right? With a very small number of families amassing exorbitant wealth. And this is still a problem in South Korea to this day. They had high levels of economic oppression. They outlawed trade unions. Um, and in 1972, General He declares martial law and implements even stronger sort of authoritarian rule. Uh, in 1980, General Chung Do-hwan comes in as another authoritarian dictator, basically. Um, he expanded trade and capitalism, and the South Korean economy expanded dramatically during this period. But there were some problems, such as the loss of civil liberties for Korean citizens and massive theft and corruption by the Chun administration and his own family. So you'll see that this is sort of a pattern. Massive labor protests take part in 1987, and democracy is instituted as he is ousted, basically. And South Korea forms a new constitution, which calls for a single 5-year presidency. You can only serve one term as the president. It institutes judicial independence and a constitutional court, and civil liberties and labor rights are restored. Unfortunately, in 1997, the Asian currency crisis hits. Many of the Asian countries have extraordinary levels of inflation, and their debt starts to become very unmanageable. In 1997, Thailand's currency collapsed, the baht, and this crisis sort of starts to spread throughout Asia, right? And investors basically flee all of these Asian countries in what is called capital flight. And South Korea has to turn to the IMF for a major bailout loan. And as part of the agreement to be able to garner the loan, they had to make massive changes to their economic system. Right? They had to institute austerity, tax increases, things of that sort. Okay. Section 3 is about the political system. So we should talk a little bit about their demographics. There are about 50 million citizens. It's a pretty small country. They have an extremely high literacy rate at around 98%, and the majority of their people speak English as well. Um, they have both a president who serves one 5-year term and a prime minister who is nominated by the president, and they have sort of separate powers, right? They have a unicameral legislature with 299 members, and they serve 4-year terms. And they have a mixed electoral system. So 243 of those 299 seats are chosen through single-member districts, just like in the United States, that sort of first past the post system. But then they also have 56 PR seats, so proportional representation. Um, so it's an interesting mixed system. Their judicial branch is independent, at least in recent years, and they include not only a Supreme Court, but also a constitutional court. And 6 of the 9 justices on the constitutional court have to agree that a law is unconstitutional for it to be banned. The South Korean economy, Section 4, right? We've seen a massive economic explosion from the 1970s to today. It used to be one of the most poor countries in the world, and today it's one of the most well-to-do countries in the world. But unfortunately, they have, much like the United States and Japan and China, they have this demographic cliff coming. They have a very, very low population growth, um, coupled with a massive aging population. And it is estimated that approximately 30% of all of their labor force is over 65 years old at this point, which can become very problematic in the future when those individuals are unable to work, and the tax base shrinks because there are very few young people in the economy. So it's something to be watching for in the near future or the medium term future, just like with Japan, China, the United States, etc. All right, that's all I've got for you today. I will have the assignment up tonight. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Have a great day.